Right now at 6, the retrial begins for one of the men accused of a fatal Harmony Apartments shooting. What arguments are being made by the defense and prosecution?
And a Madison priest is arrested for alleged child sex crimes. The reaction from his congregation and the Diocese of Madison.
Plus, Taylor and Travis make it official how local Swifties feel about the big news. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Thanks for joining us. Today, the retrial began for one of the men accused of shooting and killing Devon Grant outside of the Harmony Apartments back in July of 2023.
It's just one of many shootings that happened at that location. As we mentioned, back in 2023, Devon Grant was shot and killed outside the Harmony Apartments. And months later, Kaisha Miller was shot and killed outside the apartments. 3 others were injured as well. And then in March of this year, shots were fired inside the apartment building, injuring 1 person. And today, the retrial begins for Devontae Gafford.
And our Maddie Heimsch was in the courtroom as the prosecution and defense gave their opening arguments. Maddie?
Opening statements and testimonies today. We heard from detectives, police officers, neighbors, and witnesses, and the mother of victim Devon Grant. That's all as Devontae Gafford faces a jury for the 2nd time.
I'll never forget July 13th. Of 2023. I'll never forget that day.
That's the day that'll be relived over and over again in the courtroom this week, as the defense and prosecution lay out the details of the death of 20-year-old Devon Grant in the retrial of Devontae Gafford.
This happens in a matter of literally seconds. We're talking about seconds here, and it's on. You'll hear it in the camera. It's just a barrage of gunfire.
The defense framing the events of July 13th, 2023 as a chaotic scene of violence.
They get out of the car, guns in their hands, and immediately begin firing. This was a planned execution, and they succeeded.
And the prosecution referring to it as a calculated shooting stemming from Gafford's anger after an alleged drug deal gone wrong.
And in that car, driving is Mr. Gafford. He drives into the Harmony. He sees these young men sitting out here.
Gafford faces charges of first-degree recklessly endangering safety and first-degree intentional homicide, both as a party to a crime. Evidence on the first day of the trial includes surveillance video of the shooting, video the victim's mother, Alicia Grant, says is difficult to watch as she takes the stand herself.
My emotions came when I first came to the courtroom. I didn't even make it up to the stand before I got very emotional.
The trial is set to continue through Friday. Reporting live in downtown Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Maddie. And turning to weather now, there is a nice stretch as we head into Thursday's Badger game against Miami of Ohio.
But Alex, will get any rain before these two face off?
We do have a chance of rain, and we do have a really nice Badger game forecast as well. So yes, to answer both the questions, you wouldn't think anything like that out here in the patio right now. It's pleasant, it's beautiful, it's sunny out there. But let's fast forward, and I'll give you that Badger football forecast just before the game. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, kickoff at 65, and after the win, our temperatures will be right around 60 degrees. You might need a light jacket, though, for Thursday. Temperatures, though, dip after Thursday. We're going to go down to 69, then back up to 76 for that another important day, Labor Day. Temperatures in the upper 70s, perhaps, by Tuesday. Will this be accompanied by rain? We do have rain chances Wednesday night, and that rain chance is going to creep back in later in the 10-day forecast. When you see me next in about 10 minutes or so, I'm going to take you through those showers Wednesday night, and I'll let you know who will get the rain, who won't get the rain, and how much rain you can expect. And then later, I'm going to also take us all the way out into September and let you know what our temperature forecast is going to be come mid-September.
All right, Alex, thank you. A priest serving primarily in Madison is facing child sex crime charges. Police say he was trying to meet an underage girl for sex in Waupaca County over the weekend.
Armand Rahman has reaction from community members, the diocese, and the latest from law enforcement.
That's right, Sarah and Eric. The Diocese of Madison says Reverend Andrew Showers was assigned to all of these churches that you see here since he was ordained in 2017. He's currently out of jail on general release. Clintonville police arrested Showers Sunday evening following allegations he tried to meet a 14-year-old girl in Clintonville for sex. Church officials say the Madison Police Department notified them on Monday, a day after Showers was arrested. He's facing tentative charges of child enticement, using a computer to facilitate a sex crime, and attempted second-degree sexual assault of a child. Showers is currently serving at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church in Madison, where we asked nearby residents what they thought about a priest in their backyard facing these accusations.
I think the Catholic Church needs to be at the forefront of that healing process. I know that they've sent out some press releases, but it's going to take a lot more than that to regain a lot of trust of people in the church and people who have gone away from the church. It's certainly things like this that keep me away.
And the Diocese of Madison has fully restricted Showers from practicing or associating with minors for the duration of the investigation. They claim there have not been any previous allegations of misconduct against Showers. And in a letter to the diocese, Bishop Hying says that any allegations of sexual misconduct against minors by priests, deacons, or other church personnel should be reported to law enforcement and the Diocese of Madison's sexual misconduct question and reporting line. That we'll have that up on channel3000.com.
Armand, thank you. One person is dead, 4 others injured after a 4-vehicle crash in Sauk County. Sheriff's deputies were called to the intersection of Highway 33 at Man Mound Road. This is in the town of Greenfield. It happened last night. Investigators say a sedan crossed the center line. 2 oncoming vehicles swerved to avoid it, but the sedan crashed into a 3rd vehicle. 1 person airlifted by MedFlight, 3 others taken to nearby hospitals by ambulance. The driver of the sedan died at the scene. The man accused of faking his death and fleeing the United States has been sentenced. Ryan Borgward has been sentenced to 89 days in the county jail. He'll also have to pay $30,000 and submit a DNA sample. The sentencing comes after Borgward was reported missing last year. An investigation found he faked his death and then crossed the Canadian border, boarded a flight to Europe, and then later returned to the U.S. voluntarily.
Well, you have until the end of the business day tomorrow to give your feedback on the selection of Madison's next police chief. The Board of Police and Fire Commissioners interviewed the 3 finalists for this position back on August 14th. So the commissioners want you to watch those interviews and let them know what you think about candidates before they make this big decision. The candidates are currently Madison Police Captain Stephanie Drescher, Milwaukee Police Assistant Chief Stephen Johnson, and Acting Madison Chief John Patterson.
State Senator Kelce Roy's joined local physicians and medical students for a roundtable today. That event highlights how Republican-led attacks on abortion access are harming families, according to Senator Roy, even in states where abortion remains legal. The roundtable is part of Free and Just's summer storytelling series, which works to amplify the stories of real people impacted by abortion regulations. Speakers say these restrictions make it challenging to provide care that patients need and deserve.
Restrictions to access to reproductive health care impact everyone who needs reproductive health care, but it impacts particularly people who already have poor access to health care, including people without insurance, people on low incomes, people who live in rural communities where they can't get access to care, as well as minority communities in the state which don't have great access to care.
Free and Just Summer Storytelling Series follows their Storyteller Summit, which brought more than 100 speakers from 32 states to Washington, D.C. to highlight the human cost of abortion bans. Vice President J.D. Vance heading to La Crosse Thursday, reportedly visiting a steel fabrication facility to talk about President Trump's budget bill's effect on manufacturing. The stop part of a wider tour through swing states, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, also his home state of Ohio. Democratic leaders have already indicated they plan to organize protests for the visit.
Well, WISC-TV and Television Wisconsin have completed a major upgrade to our over-the-air broadcasting system with 2 new transmitters. Now, this means those watching us with an antenna will need to rescan TVs. In order to do this, it's easy. Simply open up your TV's menu, select Settings, and then choose Channel Scan or Auto Tune. We have all of these instructions up as well on channel3000.com/rescan. However, if you do watch WISC-TV on cable, satellite, or streaming, you will not need to make any of these changes.
Still to come at 6, new guidelines are issued to treat children's mental health.
And the prices for educational supplies are up. Details on how much parents are spending on their children this year.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. U.S. orders for durable goods dropped 2.8% in July, according to the Census Bureau.
Economists predicted a sharper drop, and it follows a 9.4% fall in June. Analysts say reductions in transportation equipment is largely to blame for the downward trend. One positive note in today's report is an increase in the core measure of durable goods. That shows business investment is holding steady despite concerns about the Trump administration's tariffs.
Well, parents across the U.S. are spending more than expected on their children for the coming school year. Vanguard says nearly 70% of parents spent more money than expected on their kids this year. That is according to their latest consumer survey. More than half of parents reported spending about $1,000 or more in the last year on an unexpected or emergency expense for their child.
I think for every individual, there's a different trigger point of dollars that generates a level of stress. But I would say that $1,000 mark is fairly significant.
A new report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that prices of educational books and supplies increased 9.4% from May of 2024 to May of 25. While a Credit Karma consumer survey says over half of parents are planning to cut back on necessities to pay for school-related shopping, and 44% are planning to take on debt.
New guidelines are giving pediatricians a more specific timeline to tackle children's mental health. The guidelines say screening should start at infancy by looking for postpartum depression in the parents. Over the next 2 years, doctors should ask about a child's sleep, emotions, and behavior. And starting at age 3, screen for mental health at annual checkups.
The same things as an adult. How well are they sleeping? How well are they eating? How are they interacting with others?
Well, doctors say parents can help children by starting a dialogue and modeling healthy behaviors. Health experts add that in addition to your child's pediatrician, parents should lean into teachers and counselors and approach mental health as a team effort.
Still ahead at 6, Alex tells us when it could rain this week.
And recovering from historic flooding, the struggle for some Wisconsin residents to get assistance. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Thousands of residents are still trying to recover from Wisconsin's historic flooding earlier in the month.
And some families are juggling applications and resources to see if they can get assistance. Courtney White and her husband's home that was severely damaged by the floods. Since then, they have been filling out applications for some sort of assistance, but so far with no success. Courtney says even though they make just enough money to afford a home, it's too much to qualify for assistance from the city of West Allis.
Everybody wants to say, well, there's resources out there, but the resources aren't meant for everybody, unfortunately. And it leaves a lot of us kind of stuck in this hopeless place because it's like, yeah, we'll apply, and then you get denied. Insurance, send in your claim, denied. What am I supposed to do?
Starting this week, the American Red Cross of Wisconsin began outreach for financial assistance to residents whose homes were destroyed or had major structural damage. Well, there's a chance for some showers during this stretch of nice weather.
Alex, when are we looking at possible rain out there?
We're looking as early as the afternoon hours on Wednesday for parts of southwest Wisconsin. A few and far between chance of an isolated shower, but those better chances, as I put future track into motion here, will happen once we get a little bit later into the evening on Wednesday. Closer to midnight, wouldn't be surprised to have some rumbles of thunder too, but take note, this is isolated to scattered at best. So while I say this all the time, when we have a scenario like this, while we all stand the chance of getting wet, not everyone's going to get wet Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. Best chances, again, southwest Wisconsin Wednesday afternoon, and then more of a focus for Madison and points off towards the north and towards the east and southeast as we go into the overnight hours of Wednesday. By the time we get into that all-important Thursday with the Badger game in the evening, we're going to have winds play a switcheroo and come around here from the north and from the east, ushering in cool temperatures, periods of clouds through the afternoon on Thursday. It's going to hold the temperatures down a little bit, but look at this. By 8 o'clock, just shortly after kickoff, clearing skies, and we are going to have a bit of that northeast breeze out there. Can't rule out maybe 1/10 of an inch, but I think at most maybe 1/4 of an inch of water from this batch of showers and a couple of isolated thunderstorms. And there are going to be some gaps. There are going to be some areas that just don't get any rain at all out of this weather system. So it's not expected to be a big weather maker by any stretch of the imagination here. And as we march into our Thursday here, kickoff temperature right around 65, 61 in the middle of the game, and after the game, just a few degrees at or right around the 60-degree mark. A light breeze, and you might want to consider bringing a jacket just to stay a little bit on the warmer side. Speaking of not warm temperatures, lows tonight again in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. A reminder, this is normal end of September weather that we're having outside right now. tomorrow, and highs on Wednesday, mid-70s, although some areas, Grant, Iowa, Lafayette counties down towards Monroe and Darlington, you might stick closer to right around 70 if we do get a couple of those showers to make it into the area as we go into Wednesday afternoon. So here's that chance of rain Wednesday night. That Thursday morning chance is very tiny, although maybe some sprinkles still in the morning with skies slowly clearing out. 69 Friday, 72 Saturday, 75 on Sunday. Those refreshingly, or I should say pleasantly cool temperatures in the 40s still. Labor Day, 76. And then we have those shower and storm chances increase Tuesday and Wednesday of next week as we warm on up. Again, I want to point this out. I keep getting asked this question. Yes, it has been rainy in August, but we are sitting right at normal, believe it or not, for the month and right at normal for the year. It seems like it would be considerably higher amounts of water both for the month and for the year, but at this point in time, we're just sitting right even for the month and for 2025. And then, as I said, we're going to go all the way out into the middle, close to the middle of September. Latest indications are that we are going to continue to be cooler than normal, so below 80 going out into September is a pretty likely outcome.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Pretty good weather ahead, though, Alex. Thank you. A major announcement for all of you Swifties, also, I guess, Kansas City Chief fans out there.
That's right. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married, if you haven't heard already. In an Instagram post, the couple wrote, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The post was accompanied by the song So High School, which is rumored to be about the three-time Super Bowl winner. We went out on the street to hear how Madison's local Swifties are responding.
I think it's really exciting because I've been a Taylor Swift fan for a long time, and she's been singing about finding love for a long time, and it finally happened.
I'm very excited for her, and I am from St. Louis, Missouri, and Travis Kelce obviously plays on the Chiefs, so I'm very excited that she has that Missouri connection now.
I wasn't quite as excited as my roommate, but she was very excited. My sister texted me right away, so it seems to be pretty big news for some people. I know them pretty well as big names, so them finally getting married is pretty cool.
Well, the couple has not revealed when and where they got engaged, but I have a feeling that this will go into the millions. It's like 18 million right now?
I think it's 20.
Is it 20?
29.
Yeah, pretty fast.
Well, my sister's actually texted me about 23 million times about it, trying to get me to respond. I'm more into the football angle these days, and it's football week.
It is.
In Madison.
And not just on the engagement front, on the Christmas Eve front. What does that mean? Still to come in sports, 'twas the night before Christmas Eve for Wisconsin football, and all through Camp Randall, the Badgers were stirring and ready to pounce. Luke Fickell shares his excitement next on News 3 Now. Wisconsin football opens their 2025 season this week, but this whole entire week feels like Christmas Eve or the anxiety before any big day. You know what I'm talking about, that bubbling feeling in your stomach that you just can't get rid of. That kind of feeling that keeps you up at night. That's what the Badgers are feeling before Thursday's opener against Miami of Ohio. But Luke Fickell says the whole Christmas Eve analogy is a little different for parents and kids.
Well, as a parent with Christmas, it's a little bit easier because you may have a better idea of, what morning's going to look like. And I know there's some unknowns, don't get me wrong. But as a kid, yeah. So there's a lot of things that are a little bit more unknowns. And it is. There's twofold. There's an anxiety about we just want to play, but there's still some things we got to be able to do. And then, there's some unknowns. And so an exciting time. It never, I don't care how many years you've done it. In particular, college football, this is probably the most exciting, but yet, anxiety-ridden time as any time during the year.
But if you're like Luke Fickell and can't wait for 8 p.m., you are in luck. Eric and I will get you ready with Wisconsin Game Day live from Camp Randall Stadium at 6:30 on Thursday, getting you ready for that battle with Miami of Ohio and breaking down the X's and O's in their gauntlet of a schedule. And then after, we'll keep the party going. Head over to Channel 3000 Plus at 7, where Eric and I will have a more in-depth breakdown of the team and the season leading up to kickoff. To the baseball field where the 2026 MLB slate came out today. And for the first time since 2021, the Crew will open their season at AmFam, hosting the White Sox in late March. The first time that the Cubs come into town is in late June, coming to AmFam for a weekend series starting on the 26th. Later in the year, Drake Baldwin's Braves will come to town in August, and the Crew end their season at home too, hosting the Cardinals in a 3-game set ending on September 27th.
Let's wrap up 25 on a good note first, right? We're looking ahead. Well, tonight, join us for News 3 Now at 10. We'll have continuing coverage after a Madison priest is arrested for alleged child sex crimes. That story more tonight. Join us for News 3 Now at 10.
Now, final check on the forecast. It has been so gorgeous.
Gorgeous, and that will continue. A couple showers tomorrow night. I do not think it's going to impact Thursday at all. We'll be in the 60s for the majority of the pre, during, and post festivities after the win, and dry conditions. Staying dry all the way out to Labor Day, and then nice after that, too.
I was in the stadium yesterday. I'm getting that feeling. It is an exciting week. Thanks for joining us. Entertainment Tonight is next.
Our next show is at 10 o'clock. You can always find us streaming 24/7.